Today I'll be making a boy's baby blanket for one of my friends. If you flip this on the back, you'll see that it tells you what kind of yarn it is, how thick it is, and also the recommended hook size. The first thing we need to do is make our loop. You're going to wrap this around your thumb until you have a circle, and then just push the yarn that's behind through that hole. And then just give it a tug. You want a little bit of a tail so that you can weave that in the project when you're done. Now you're going to want to get your tension and hold on to the yarn. This can be done many different ways. The way that I do it is I wrap it around my pinky and then I go behind my pointer. Now that I have it like that, I will pinch it with my thumb and my middle finger. So it's kind of like weird looking, but this is the way that I prefer to hold it. So what we're going to do now is you're going to hook, make sure it's facing down, and pull that all the way through. So again, you're going to hook and pull that all the way through. What we're doing is we're going to make a chain, and this is going to be kind of our base layer that we're going to work off of. So again, you're going to hook, turn, and pull through. You'll notice that if you try to hook this and don't have it upright, it'll fall off, or if you do get it hooked, you will get stuck. Same thing if you turn it sideways, you tend to get stuck. So make sure you face it down and pull through. So I'm going to keep going for the desired length that I want for this blanket, and we're just going to keep hooking and pulling through. Hook, pull through. One thing I want to say when we first start out is this is the worst row ever. So please try not to get frustrated. I hate this first row because you have nothing to hang on to. So now I have a chain of 64. So what we're going to do is we're going to hook this and go into the fourth loop. So we're going to hook and then count 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4 is going to be that last kind of blue one. So I'm going to go right into here. So you're hooking it and then pushing it through the fourth hole. Now you're going to grab it from behind and pull that through the same hole where you should have 3 now. Now you're going to hook it again and pull it through the first 2 and then the last 2. And there you have the first double crochet. So now what we're going to do to make our V-stitch is instead of on a normal double crochet, we would just keep going into each loop. But now we're going to go into that exact same hole that we just did this first one in. So I'm going to hook this again. We're going to go through the same exact hole. You're going to grab it from behind and pull it through that hole. And again, we should end up with 3. So now we're going to hook it and pull it through the first 2. And you should have 2 left. And now hook it, pull it through the last 2. And there you have where we have 1, a space, and then kind of like a V. So I'm going to do a few more slowly so you can get the idea of it. So now we're going to hook it again. Now the main thing here is we need to put a gap in here. So normally this would be our next marker right here, but we're going to go to the next one. We want to skip one. So I'm going to hook this and go into the second one. We're going to grab it from behind and pull it through the same hole. You are going to then hook it and pull it through the first 2 and hook it, pull it through the last 2. Okay. Now, because we're doing a V, again, we're going to hook and go into that same hole. Hook it from behind and pull it through the hole. Hook it through the first 2 and now the last 2. Oops. There you go. So let me just show you what we've got so far. So here we have our first one that kind of came around. Then we had a little space. We have the 2 here, space, and then 2. And you can kind of see, it's a little harder to see when it's a thicker yarn, but you can see how it kind of makes a V because it goes down and then up. And that's because we're going in that same hole. So I'm going to do the next one here. We're going to hook it, and we're going to skip this one and go to the second one. We always want to skip it. We're going to pull that through, hook, pull through the first 2 and the last 2. And again, hook it, go through the same hole when you're doing a V, hook it again and pull it through, then hook and pull through the first 2 and hook and go through the last 2. So you can kind of see the pattern there. So it's like in groups of 2, 2 space, 2 space, 2. So I'm going to keep doing the rest of my chain and then I'll show you how to flip your work and start the next row. Since we always want to work from right to left, we're going to rotate our work, but first we need to make our next post. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3. And now I'm going to rotate and pull all of this stuff to the left. Now what we're going to do just for this first one is we're going to actually go in this hole. Then the rest of them we're going to go in between these bigger holes. That's just because this one is so tight up against the edge that we want it to look similar. And if I were to go in this bigger hole, it'll look kind of lopsided. So I'm going to go ahead and do a double crochet in here. So we're going to loop it, go through this hole, grab it and pull it back through the hole. And then we're going to do the first two and the last two. And this is kind of really our first V. It's just because you're starting a new row. Now for the rest of the project, we're going to be going in between these bigger holes, and it makes it a lot easier on this second row. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to hook this, and we're going to go through this big hole here. And we're going to hook it, pull it through, and then we're going to do the first two and the last two. So because we're doing a V-stitch, we need to go back in this hole again. So we're going to hook it and go through the hole. And then we're going to grab the, go through the first two and the last two. There we go. And so same thing, hook it. We're going to go through this next big hole. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the double crochet stitch one more time slowly. So hook it, go through the big hole, hook it again and pull it back through that hole. And you should have 3. And you're going to hook, pull it through the first 2, and hook and go through the last 2. So this is what we've got. And you can see as I stretch it out a little bit, you can see it a little bit better. So there's these gaps in between. So really the entire project, that's what you're going to do. You're going to do double crochet twice in the same hole, and then you're going to jump to the next bigger hole, then and do 2 here. Then jump here, do 2 crochets in the same one, and so on and so forth throughout the whole entire project. Okay, now I'm going to skip to the very end with me being completely finished with this, and I'm going to show you how to end the blanket and get rid of these little tails and everything. This is the baby blanket finished. You can see it's pretty small. I purposely didn't make a huge blanket. So now we have these 2 ends, one from when it started and one from when we ended, that we need to tie off. So what I want to do is I want to kind of go in the opposite direction of the way it came. So right here you can see it's going this way down. And so to keep it nice and snug, I want to go the other way. So I'm going to go this way. So we're going to rotate this. So what I want to do is weave it in and out a few times. So we're going to go in here and then this way and this way. Pretty much you just want to hide it. Okay, so now I'm going to take this and put it through the eye of the needle. It can be a little tricky since it's thick, so you just got to pinch it really tight and then just sort of pull it through the other side. And now what I'm going to do is just kind of pull that through. You might have to give it a little wiggle here and there. But now the end is pretty much hidden. And we're just going to cut off the excess. There you go. So now it looks like it's completely finished and you can't see it. This is the end I started with, so there's already kind of like a knot in there, so I don't have to worry about going in either direction. You can really just go in whichever direction. And we'll just give it a little tug. There we go. So that's hidden. And now we'll just cut off the end here. And there you go. You can't see that one either. And that's how you make a baby blanket using the V-stitch. Thanks for checking out my channel and watching this video. If you want to see what I'm going to post next, don't forget to subscribe below.